Hi guys, Olive here today to tell you what I'm hoping to read during the month of August 2019. We are a few days into the month now, and while I normally try to do these TBR videos earlier than this, like ideally even before the month begins, I've had a really crazy week. I have several different projects that I'm juggling right now, which I will talk about eventually, just not yet. And then randomly, my tear duct got infected, so I've been nursing that. But now that I'm pulling my life back into order, I'm starting to get really excited about the reading month ahead. So let's take a look at the books that I'm hoping to read in August. I'm still feeling that pull toward fantasy books that I always get during the summer, since the summer is still unfortunately going strong. I have a pair of fantasy books that I'm looking to read this month. The first of those is Akata Warrior by Nydia Okorafor. This is the sequel to Akata Witch that I read and really enjoyed during my first year here on Booktube. I was so excited about this sequel that I actually pre-ordered it and then never got around to reading it. So it's about time that I did that. Another sequel that I've taken my sweet old time getting around to reading is called Owl and the City of Angels by Christy Cherish. This is the follow-up to Owl and the Japanese Circus that I read a couple summers back. This entire series was originally a recommendation from Sana over at Inkbones Books, whose channel I have been obsessed with ever since I discovered Booktube back in 2014. It's essentially an urban paranormal fantasy series with a lady Indiana Jones type archaeologist main character. It sounded amazing. I was not disappointed by the first book, so I am so excited to read the second one in the series. The next book is not a fantasy book, but it does remind me of summer nonetheless. That is Relief Map by Rosalie Knecht. It's set during the summer break of a 16-year-old girl in a small Pennsylvania town. Can relate, but what adds tension in this book is the fact that there is a fugitive from the Republic of Georgia on the loose in this town. I have been specifically saving this one for the summer. I'm really hoping it will give me all the nostalgia as a Pennsylvania girl myself. I also want to dabble in a few different historical fiction works this month. One of those is The Architect's Apprentice by Elif Shafak. This is a very ambitious novel that spans nearly a century in the life of the Ottoman Empire, beginning in 1540 Istanbul. You may have heard this author's name recently. Her latest book was just nominated for the Booker Prize. But also her name has been in the news because the government of Turkey is trying to censor her work in what appears to be an ongoing attack on free speech. So reading this book is not only something I want to do because it sounds absolutely fantastic, but I also really want to support her. Another book that I have several different motivations behind why I want to read it is The Blues Walked In by Kathleen George. Let me tell you just how much of an Olive book this is, okay? You ready? This is set during 1936, so immediately right in my wheelhouse. And then it follows the career of a jazz singer, okay, even more up my alley, and it is set in Pittsburgh and is written by a local author. Ding, 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 we have a winner. This is ringing all of my bells. I have been really looking forward to this one. And then I have 3 different arcs from NetGalley that I'm hoping to read and review. The first of those is another work of historical fiction called The Women of the Copper Country by Mary Doria Russell. Her older book, The Sparrow, is hands down one of the very best works of fiction I've read so far this year. So when I heard that she was releasing this novel, which is set in 1913 in copper mining, Michigan, I knew I had to get my hands on it. The second new release that I'm hoping to read this month is called Savage Appetites by Rachel Monroe. This nonfiction book looks at the fascination we have with 4 different archetypes of women in relation to crime stories. So detective, attorney, killer, and victim. And then it dives into 4 different true stories about women within those 4 categories. This seems perfect for anyone who really likes true crime, which I do really enjoy reading on occasion. And then I'm also looking to pick up The Bells of Old Tokyo by Anna Sherman. This is another work of nonfiction that seems to combine history, travel writing, and cultural observations about Japan. And from everything I've heard about this book, it seems positively gorgeous. I want to inhale this book. And lastly, I have 2 more books that I would like to show you that I'm hoping to read for this month. Both are off of my ongoing lists, projects that I've been working on for some time now. Off of my 5-star nonfiction predictions list, I am finally going to read When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalanithi. This is the memoir of a writer turned surgeon who found out that he had terminal cancer at a very young age. I have heard so many people praise this book. And I put it on my 5-star nonfiction predictions list, not just because of that, but also because it has always seemed to strike some similar chords to Being Mortal by Atul Gawande, which is one of my all-time favorite nonfiction books. I'm sure this book is going to be tremendously sad, but also probably incredibly moving. And then finally, off of my classics TBR this month, I'm choosing The Essential Tales of Chekhov. If you've been around this channel for some time, you have likely seen some of my struggles when it comes to Russian literature, which has always been more than a touch ironic given my academic background. But I did read some Chekhov in college and really enjoyed it. So I'm going to turn this book into my nightstand book and read one story per night. It sounds perfect. Normally this would be the point in the TBR video where I go and pick the random options off of my TBR for the month and then put a poll up on my Patreon for my patrons to choose which of those books that I will go on to read. But for right now, I'm taking a break from the Patreon and from the random picks off of my TBR. As I said at the beginning of the video, my schedule has been absolutely insane. I have been really struggling to keep my head above water since I'm adding new projects and not subtracting anything else. It's just been really overwhelming, and if I can't pay enough attention to the Patreon, since people are making a financial commitment to me, then I don't want to do that. I don't want to ask for that when I can't give what I promised. So for the foreseeable future, that's going to be on pause. I'm not going to be doing anything with it. I may kick it back up again, and if I do so, I will certainly make an announcement to that effect, but I thought I would just let you know what's going on. Since there is no random book off of my TBR this month, that means you've already seen all the books that I'm planning to take on during the month of August. As always, I'd love to hear from you if you've read any of these books, if you've heard about them, or if you'd now like to read them after hearing me talk about them. I'd love to hear from you in the comment section below, or if you'd like to reach out somewhere other than YouTube, I am on a variety of different places on social media, and the links to all of my profiles are in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.